Hi y'all, it's TFI Wilderness here, and I'm bringing to you another KTRT review. Yeah, hello. Yeah, this is the second of this month's KTRT figures, and it's the final part of the Miniforce X series that I've been doing. And before I go any further, on the thumbnail, if ever you see a sad face on the thumbnail, then that usually means that the bot that I'm going to be reviewing is a bit of a stinker, in my opinion. It's a bit crap and a bit rubbish. So just giving you fair warning. So I've got the last final part of the Miniforce X combiner. It's not very good. Little spoiler there. But before we get into the actual figure itself, let's have a quick look at the box. It's got the face on the side. There's the front, bubble window, Miniforce X logo up there and on top. And then it's got some pictures of the figure on the side. And then on the back you've got the same old. You've got the four figures and the combiner. Yes. Commando X Machine, it's called. But we'll see that later. So I want to rush through this review because I don't think this bot deserves a full-blown review, and I've got quite a few props here I want to show you throughout the review. So anyway, there's the box. It's quite small compared to the other boxes. I think it's about the same size as LucyBot's box, but the other two boxes, MaxBot and SemiBot, much bigger. Anyway, now here he is. Here's Voltbot. Now, there's a bit of ambiguity as regards to his name, like some other KTRT figures, Korean figures. Sometimes because of the way Koreans pronunciate certain names and words, when you listen to them, it's difficult to say what it actually is. And when you look at the listings for the figures on eBay, they have one or the other or both of the meanings on the same title. Now, I've heard this guy referred to as Voltbot, and that's what I call him, but he's also referred to as Boltbot with a B. And, I mean, he's got that sort of, the little chibi blue character who's Volt, or Bolt. He's got like a little white sort of lightning bolt on his head, so it could be one or the other. I mean, Bolt is bolt of lightning, and Volt is like a bolt of, a volt or, electricity bolt. So it's one of the two things. But anyway, here's the car. And this is the vehicle mode. This is Voltbot's vehicle mode. It's quite cool. Now, previously, I got the original Voltbot from the original series, and this is it. I've done a review on this many moons ago. I bought it because I wanted to get one example of a toy from the original Miniforce line. I didn't fancy the look of the combiners. I just wanted to get one figure as an example of a toy from the line, and I went for this one, even though I could have gone for either LucyBot or MaxBot, because they transform into like pickup trucks and SUVs, and they look kind of good. But the problem with these figures is that they're made by Sonicon, so they're very well made, but it was the engineering and the aesthetic on them that was a bit odd. But I got Voltbot, and this car mode is a bit weird looking, but I've got him as an example. So here's the new Voltbot and Miniforce X Voltbot, and as you can see, it's quite a bit longer. And actually, I quite like the look of the car mode. It's pretty cool. It's a very futuristic looking car. It's got a very long sort of hood or bonnet. It's got these rather pronounced sort of curving shoulders. It's got these painted chevrons on the front. It's got a lot of light detail on the front. It's got large black pinned wheels with like a nice alloy wheel style, and with sort of like a brake disc showing through. And then at the back, you've got these large sort of groupings of engine cowlings. And you've got these two vents, cowls on the front. These little winglets here. Got a small window, a little red piece there. And you get on the back, and it's just a series of engine exhausts sticking out the back. It's got a decent weight to it. It rolls extremely well. Very large pinned wheels, so it rolls really well. But that's the car. That's about as much as you can say about the car mode. So now we've got to transform into robot mode. It's not too difficult. You could probably start by grabbing the back and then pulling that down, and then you flip that round, separate the legs, fold round the feet like so. Then you pull these bits out. Obviously you go around the back and then you pop that down and slide this panel back. And you unfold the arms, flip out the fists, and then bring his head up. And there we have Voltbot in his robot mode, and on first glance he actually looks pretty good. Let's do a quick size comparison with my before we go any further. There he is next to Combiner Wars Megs, and a little bit short, so it's just a little bit shorter than your average leader class figure. He looks good. It looks fairly good in robot mode. It's got a decent amount of detail, moulding detail, and paint apps. Obviously, they've got the white chevrons down there. Got some white bits there and a blue piece there. It's got a decently painted head sculpt. You've got these vent things on the shoulders. It looks pretty good. However, then you get to the articulation, and that's where the engineering on these Miniforce figures falls down, and I reckon that's largely because they're made by a company other than Sonocon. Now, Sonocon made this. Now, if you just give me a moment, I'll transform that into robot mode. Yeah, so there's Voltbot in his robot mode, again for another size comparison, the original Voltbot and Miniforce X Voltbot. So as you can see, they're like that. So yeah, articulation. Now bearing in mind the original, which was built by Sonocon, it's got a head swivel, got shoulders that go around there, it's got a decent elbow, it's got 5 swivels, ratcheted hips, deep knees. It's a reasonably well articulated bot, and this guy has got engineering so that he can he's a double combiner. He can combine in a 2-bot combiner and a 4-bot combiner, so there's engineering on this for 2 combined modes. Then there's this, then there's Miniforce X Voltbot, and oh dear. Right, where to start? Head does not move, right? No head rotation. Shoulders, they're on a very loose, floppy ratchet. They go all the way around. A little bit bending in and out. And as you can see, his arms are quite long and they hit on his legs. Now, he does have double elbows, no bicep swivel, but then again, I wouldn't expect to have a bicep swivel on a Korean bot, because it's very, very rare that you get that. But he has got double jointed elbows. He's got one there and another one there, so that's decent. Now he has got a waist joint, but it's a transformation joint. So he's got a waist joint, but if you look, you can see there's something unusual. His gusset plate or pants plate, whatever you call it, it's on a separate joint. So if you flip it up, you can see he's got articulated waist. Now you can, as I did for the thumbnail picture on this video, I had it at a slight angle to give it the impression that it has got a waist joint, but so it's a bit weird. But because that isn't attached to the waist, it looks really unusual when you try to give him a waist joint. So yeah, it's a bit of a faux waist joint. But yeah, so that's that. Now hips. Now this is where the things start. The legs are where things go wrong. Right. Now you see the length of that hip joint. It's very long, and you can see there's not much clearance there. So the leg goes forward that far and back that far. It barely goes one click. You can sort of force it to go forwards, but you're bending plastic and it's not really clever. So yeah, the hips, forget about it. He can do a decent spread. That I will say that about it. And then the other thing that's bad about this, no knees. He's got no knees. He's got a transformation joint where the leg does that, but he's got no forwards and backs motions on the knees. Bearing in mind, this guy, you know, he's got full articulation on his legs. This guy's got hardly any articulation on his legs. So yeah, rubbish, junk, crap, bollocks. Yeah. Yeah, big letdown. It's a shame, really. It was going so well until you get to the articulation, then it just falls flat. Okay, right. So yeah, articulation, forget about it. It's rubbish. So what else does this thing do? It combines. So let's have a look at the final. Let's have a look at this combiner that all these Miniforce bots go together. And to do that, we need to get this guy back to sort of car mode. So plug the legs together, flip the feet round, swing the torso around, put down the head, slide the panel forward, flip up the cockpit, fold it down, and then just collapse the leg, collapse the arms. Right, so you get back to car mode. Now, getting this thing into combiner mode is quite easy. Pull the legs round to the side, and then there's a peg there and a port there, and that plugs in on both sides. Now, you take these little vent things off top and you put them to one side because there's a bit of parts forming involved. Right, you then flip it over, and you go to the back, and in this cockpit section, you pull it down like that. And that is the combine mode. Now, this guy is the glue that holds the rest of the combiner together. He is the bit in the middle that the legs attach to, the arms attach to, and the backpack attaches to. So you need this guy to make the combiner. You can't make the combiner without him. He's the linchpin of the combiner. So with that said, there is Voltbot in his combiner mode. So we need to attach him to something. So I've got here MaxBot, this god-awful yellow thing that I reviewed last time. I've got him in his leg mode, and there's a slot here. What you do is you take that, you slot it into there, and push it forwards. Oh yeah, the little button you have to press up and then slide it forward and it clicks into place. Now, remember these bits you took off the vehicle mode before? Right, so there's some little ports on the legs and you just clip them on there. Bit of parts forming, right? So you've got that. So now we've got the legs and the front of the torso. Where do we go from here? Right. Now, then we get Semibot. Now you configure him like this, and on the back you've got some pegs there, and you've got some pegs on top there. Now this is a bit awkward to get it pegged in properly. It's kind of tricky, but and also on this you've got this spring-loaded head here, which doesn't clip into place. It just sticks out, and you have to sort of wrangle it into place. So you plug that into there, and then you plug that this isn't very easy. It's all because of this stupid stupid head here. It gets jammed. Right, there you go. I've got it in. Right, so that's that there. And final part is Lucybot, who splits in two and becomes the arms. So you just have these pegs here. You plug that onto there, and you plug that onto there, like so. And then there's one final piece, and that's the X logo, which goes on the chest. Now remember the little waist piece that doesn't move when you move his waist? Well, it's got two little pegs on the front, which then slot into here. So you just got to slot that in. There we go. And there we have the completed combiner Miniforce X Commando X machine. Now, where's the box? It doesn't look, you know, much like his CGI render. The proportions are a little off, and I decided when I got this, obviously I had a go with it. I combined it to see what it was like, and yeah, again, it's a bit of a letdown. It's big, it's impressive, it's very colourful, but engineering wise, it's they haven't really thought it through properly. Articulation, nothing on the head. The very loose ratchets on the arms. It's barely got any knees. The knees barely go to 45 degrees. The arms actually don't because of the ratchets, they don't sit straight. Nothing at the waist. Now, Korean reviews I've seen of this have had it with the legs pegged together like this, and it will stand up. However, you can split the legs and give him an A stance. And when you try to stand him up like this, he falls over. The reason being is because of these feet. Now, if I flip it up, you can see you've got all this weight, and you've got this big space here. You've got the drills which form the outside of the feet, and then you've got, this is the heel here, this bit. And it just does not work. It just will not stay up. It just keeps falling over. It's just too top heavy, and there's no support in the feet at all. And yeah, very, very disappointing. So what I've done is you can take the feet off, and you can swap them round. You can put them on the other way round, sort of. That then puts the drills on the inside of the feet, and he does then stand up a little better. He will sort of stand up, but I mean, he has got hips, go backwards and forwards, and can go in and out. Again, same problem with MaxBot. The knees, he hasn't got knees. You can unlock them and bring the knees back, but they're just on a locking sort of hinge. No ratchet or anything. It's and the price I paid for this, all told, it was about 220 odd quid I paid for this, and that makes it the most expensive, you know, Korean combiner that I've bought. And previously in my room, I've had this guy on display. Stay. This is Hello Carbot's Super Patron, and he's been on display in my room for over a year. I think it was July last year. I put this guy together and I put him in the big bot spot next to my TV in my room, and yeah, he's pretty amazing. He's made up out of 4 figures. He's got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Made by Sonicon. It's very strong ratchets. It pegs together very, very firmly. It has got some unusual joints, but it's bright and colourful and it looks really cool, and he's a great figure. Now, this thing is bright and colourful, I'll give it that, but it ain't a patch on Super Patron. And Super Patron, it was a lot less than what I paid for this. So at the end of the day, is it worth buying this guy? Is it worth spending all the money, the 220 odd quid, or well, you could probably get it for a little bit less now because the price of the figures has come down. They were about 75 quid when they first came out, but now you can get them for about sort of 55, 56 quid. So you're still talking about 220 quid. It's very disappointing. There are so many elements about this thing which just don't work. Samibot, the red plane, he's the only figure out of the 4 that I would say is worth getting. The other 3, forget it. And if you're going to go down the route of getting the combiner like I did, you're wasting your time. It's not really worth doing it. I mean, I've got it now. This guy is going to go on display in my room. Obviously, it's taken a while to get him together and make this thing. So Pentastorm's been on display for long enough. It's about time I change the guard and put this guy in. I'm just hoping he will stay up on the shelf with his dodgy feet. But there we go. So that's it. That's my review of the little blue guy, Voltbot, and the completed Miniforce X Combiner Commando X machine. It's a thing. The whole thing is a bit of a letdown. It's the engineering just isn't up to scratch on this compared to other Korean combining toys that I've bought. But it is a thing, and it does exist, and I bought it, and it looks pretty cool. I mean, that's the reason why I went for it, was because of the aesthetic. And it does kind of pull off the aesthetic, even though there's quite a few elements that aren't quite there, and the proportions are different from the CGI model. But it's not bad in that respect. But as a toy, I mean, if you've got some young child playing with this and it falls on top of them, it'll hurt them, because it's so unstable. But then again, most people have it with the legs combined together, which when you put the feet on back to front, they won't even do that. So yeah, that's been me, TFR Wilderness, doing my final review on this Miniforce thingamajigger. Hope you've enjoyed this review. And I'm going to the MCM Comic Con at Birmingham tomorrow, and I'm hoping to pick up a few bits and pieces from the in-demand toy store, and then maybe a few other things. So if you're a viewer and a subscriber and a viewer, and you're going to MCM tomorrow, then you might see me knocking around. But with that said, I've been TFR Wilderness. I'll catch you all next time. Ta-da.